I had been looking forward to my brother Mark's wedding for months. Growing up, our family had always celebrated milestones together, and I imagined this day would be no different, full of laughter, joy, and the kind of memories that last a lifetime. I had dressed carefully, arrived on time, and brought a heartfelt gift for the newlyweds, expecting to be part of the celebration in a meaningful way. I never expected humiliation. The ceremony itself was beautiful. Flowers adorned every corner, candles flickered in the evening air, and music swelled as guests filled the grand hall. I greeted other family members and friends, soaking in the joy of the occasion, when I noticed Mark whispering to his fiancée. Their eyes flicked toward me, and I sensed something off. It wasn't until dinner that the reality hit. As I approached the table, hoping to find my place among family and friends, Mark blocked my path with a casual smirk. "Sorry," he said, his tone dripping with false politeness. "This table's for family only." I blinked in disbelief. I am family," I stammered, expecting him to laugh or realize his mistake. But instead, he pointed to a small fold-out chair tucked near the back of the hall. "You can sit there," he said casually, as if he were giving me a favor. My heart sank. The folding chair was not just a seat. It was a statement. Everyone else was seated comfortably at long, elegantly decorated tables, enjoying the celebration, while I was relegated to a corner, isolated and excluded. I felt a wave of humiliation crash over me, a mix of anger, sadness, and disbelief. I sat stiffly, keeping my composure as I watched the festivities unfold. The laughter, the speeches, the clinking of glasses, all moments I should have been sharing, were now a distant background to my quiet indignity. Mark and his fiancée seemed to enjoy my discomfort, exchanging amused glances as I forced myself to appear polite. But as I sat there, observing, a quiet determination began to build within me. I realized that while they could dictate where I physically sat, they could not dictate my presence, my dignity, or my ability to enjoy the night on my own terms. I began to scan the room, noticing others who might feel overlooked or excluded. And slowly, I reached out to engage with them, creating small pockets of warmth and camaraderie around me. By the time the speeches began, I had reclaimed a sense of control. I laughed with new acquaintances, shared stories, and even caught the eye of a few guests who appreciated my resilience. Mark's smirk faded slightly, as he realized that his attempt to humiliate me had failed. The folding chair, intended as a symbol of exclusion, had instead become a vantage point from which I could quietly assert my presence and composure. During the toast, I rose quietly, holding my glass with confidence, and offered my own well wishes to the newlyweds. My voice was steady, warm, and sincere, and it drew the attention of the room. Guests noticed my grace under pressure, and I could see subtle nods of admiration from those around me. My brother's attempt to diminish me had backfired. Instead of embarrassment, I radiated dignity. As the evening progressed, I continued to navigate the celebration with poise. I joined conversations, engaged in dancing, and even helped a few guests who had trouble finding their seats. The small fold-out chair no longer felt like a symbol of humiliation. It was a reminder that I could rise above the situation, command respect, and participate fully without needing permission or validation from others. By the end of the night, Mark's smirk had vanished, replaced by a reluctant acknowledgement of my presence and composure. Even his fiancée seemed to recognize that their attempt to assert superiority had failed. I left the hall that evening with my head held high, knowing that I had transformed what was meant to be a moment of exclusion into an opportunity to demonstrate strength, resilience, and grace. Reflecting on the night in the days that followed, I understood that true dignity is not given by others. It is carried within oneself. The folding chair, the pointed smirk, and the whispered exclusion had all been attempts to control or belittle me. But my response, calm, composed, and confident, had neutralized their power. I had turned humiliation into quiet triumph, embarrassment into opportunity, and exclusion into personal strength. In the end, the wedding became more than a celebration of marriage. It became a lesson in resilience, self-respect, and the power of composure in the face of attempts to diminish us. The folding chair, once a symbol of exclusion, now represented quiet victory. A reminder that true strength is measured not by the seats we are given, but by the grace and dignity with which we occupy them.